Bryan, man, I'll tell you what, man. I just been watching some players, man. I've been doubling down on this, man. Bryan, there's a thing.
Yeah.
I was watching Abdul Carter because Dane Brugler said so.
I love him.
Abdul Carter or Dane Brugler?
Both. By the way, in the future, just let me throw some names out there for guys we're going to have on.
Please.
I talked to some folks today. Thanks again to Todd Archer for coming on from ESPN.
Yes,
one of my favorite guys of all time. He knows this football team. He lives with this football team. You can trust what he says. Talked to Jim Nagy, director of the Senior Bowl, wants to come on. He was on a flight tonight, couldn't make it. Mike Lombardi was giving a speech in Boston. He says he'd love to come on with We're Doing All Right. And then I talked to Dane Brugler. He has a project he's doing with the Athletic, and he said, listen, catch me next week. So in the coming weeks, guys like Jim Nagy, Dane Brugler, Mike Lombardi, and we don't discriminate too. We're going to have some of our lady friends come on here, some very fine reporters and people that know the ins and outs of this football team. So Tuesday's kind of our day of doing this, and we're looking forward to many, many more of those ahead.
Tune in every day, but please, don't miss Tuesday.
Yeah, Tuesdays. It'd be good. I love that kid from Penn State.
Man, Bryan Broaddus, Abdul Carter. I went on the social media. Let me just say this. I went on the socials, man, because I was watching them earlier, and I was just like, man, I just watched Abdul Carter. Cowboys got to think about edge now.
Got to think about edge with this kid.
You got to think about edge, Bryan Broaddus.
That's a good-looking player, man. That is a good-looking player.
I watched 8 games. I watched 8 games.
You got them all. You got them all.
Because I know he's a full-time edge guy this year.
Right.
But he was a linebacker dude last year, so I just kind of wanted to get my thoughts on where I'm at with it. I don't particularly need him to play a bunch of linebacker.
No, I not at all.
Yeah.
And not at all. And matter of fact, to me, that ability to, and the fact that you can move him around.
Sure.
He'll play left, he'll play right. I've seen him go down and play over the guard.
The center blitz him in the middle, yep.
Center blitzer. This guy is like a 6'4", 259-pound, bendy, explosive, get to the edge, get a lot of ground, get some direction with that first step, and then bring it.
Yeah.
Watched him a couple games, USC, Ohio State, some big time competition. This guy was he took the blockers to task for the way that he plays.
Sure did. Pretty bendy, plays strong. Dominant run game guy, like in terms of like penetrating and just tearing up stuff on the way to the run game. Like he doesn't. I don't think he has this feel for stacking and shedding and getting rid of guys or anything like that. But just as a physical dude running through a block to get to a ball carrier and bringing guys with him, boy, was he just fun to just naturally watch him whoop people and make plays.
I was watching him in the USC game where he was rushing from the left side, and the USC the tackle set, and by the time he had set, like it's like my guy Carter he started, and then he saw the guy set, and he stopped a little bit, and the guy kind of rocked back, and then he started again. So it's like he kind of got the guy off balance just by his rush.
Sure.
And then so when you go, he's set, now he's rocked back, now he's trying to get forward, now he rocks, and then now he's past him.
Yeah.
I mean, he was moving guys with his ability to start, stop, and then start again. Sometimes, what they do, these tackles or any offensive lineman, as you well know, get your hands on the guy, stop him, and then make him have to restart.
Yep.
If you get a guy that could start, stop, and start again and still get to where he needs to be, that's where you need to. That's a good thing for an edge rusher to have. And like I say, he's a lot of these guys we've seen, Voch, and you know this.
Sure.
How many of these 235-pound, 238-pound, 200
get thrown around? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. This dude's got some. He's got some length, and he's got some size to him.
Bigger than Michael Parsons right now. Like he's.
Let me tell you who he reminded me of, Voch. He reminded me of Verse.
Jared Verse.
He reminded me of
violent hands.
Me of Verse. He reminded me of Verse when I was watching him. I'm thinking, oh, this is a big, long rusher. that can kind of explode, looks good in his stance.
Sure.
I thought he had some Jared Verse to his game. I really did.
That's a great comparison, Brian. And look, man, I'm watching him and I'm just thinking, man, the things you could do with 11 and 13 with that guy. That's some speed, fast and in a hurry. So, Brian, here's my new question, because the more guys I watch, the more you kind of get an idea. We can talk positions all day. You said this once upon a time. You said everybody's going to be available, or the Cowboys can kind of pick wherever they want to go.
I think they're open.
So this is my new point. And people on Twitter kind of talk to me about that, right? They say, yeah, Voch, I think the Cowboys can go in any direction. Here's my thing with this, right? Mm-hmm. Now we're putting names to faces.
Oh, yeah.
I think officially safety, running back, and left tackle have to get pushed down the board.
Say one more time, please.
Safety, running back, and tackle, offensive tackle. I think
push down the board like not a priority?
They're not a priority for me, because if I'm looking at these three receivers, you're a Michigan D lineman, and I'm looking at Carter, I think those dudes are elite talents. Elite talents. I think Will Campbell, the left tackle from LSU, I think he's a kind of good player.
I don't disagree. And I'm an alum.
Sure.
I've seen every snap.
Sure.
I think there are a lot of people, Dane Brugler asked me, he goes, man, I'm trying to do this top 50.
Sure.
I'm having trouble with Will Campbell. I go, you should have trouble with Will Campbell.
Yeah.
I think you've said it before. I think you said it last night. In the last year tackle group, he might be the fifth tackle.
5 or 6. Yep, down there with Jordan Morgan or something. He wouldn't be up there with Olu and Fuaga and those guys and Joe Alden, those guys. So, Brian, what I'm saying is, let's say we win a couple games, we end up at 13 or something, and we draft the tackle, Campbell, I'm like, all right, cool. We drafted the tackle at 13. But assuming that we losing games because Cooper Rush throws for 45 yards per game or something like that, and we end up 5, 6, or 7, I think you cut off some positions or some draft possibility. I'm not drafting Will Campbell at 7. I can't draft the safety at 7 because I think one of those receivers.
You talking about Starks at 7?
The safety, him too.
Yeah,
I don't think I can draft him at 7.
I couldn't take him at 7. No,
I couldn't take him at 7 because damn, one of those receivers are.
Starks is from Georgia, by the way, just to let people know who we're talking about.
Malachi Starks, safety, Georgia. I'm gonna get better at it.
Thank you. Get better at that because people will remind you about that real quick.
I don't think I could possibly take him or the tackle because when I watch Mason Graham tackle a D tackle from Michigan, I think he's elite. Any of those wide receivers, I think those guys are elite, and I think those are much higher talents that I would rather take than offensive line right there.
I'm just going to be real honest with you here, and I'm sorry I'm 60 years old and saying this. That running back from Boise State,
he's elite, Brian.
Son of a bitch.
He's elite.
I mean, and every sense of the word. And you could say, well, Boise doesn't play. Boise's probably going to be in the football playoff.
He whooped Oregon. He whooped Oregon.
He took it to Oregon. Watch him play Washington State, who's 7-1 right now. He ran the ball. Let me tell you what, that kid right there. I am there. You can put him wide at wide receiver and throw him the ball. You can hand him the ball. A lot of his runs come through the middle of the line. He's breaking. Nobody in the country breaks more tackles than this kid.
Tough.
Nobody. And you know what? I'll fight people. And especially if you're telling me we're here at 13, maybe, you start, we maybe win some games. I don't know. I don't know if somebody's going to take him before that. Maybe they will. But this kid, he's got some special ability.
Sure.
He really, really does. And listen, I'm just going to say this about him. And this is, I'm going to try and give you a pro comparison to who I think. I think this kid, and it's going to turn people off. Maybe, I don't know. This guy looked like Kenneth Walker to me from the Seahawks.
And that's a dominant running back. That's
a dominant running back. Beat your ass up running back.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Catch the ball, run, get through the tackles, burst, physical, finish. I'm just saying.
Sure.
That if I was in a draft room, and I know people talk about value at running back and when you pick them in the first round, I would take this kid over Bijan Robinson, and I absolutely love Bijan Robinson.
Brian, let me ask you a question. we're talking about Ashton Jeanty, the running back from
Thank you very much. I should have done. I went on a rant. Yeah, got to heed my own words sometimes.
I'm gonna do this a lot on the draft show, so get ready. Jeanty or Mason Graham, tackle from Michigan.
Jeanty. And I hate to do that because I think Graham, and it's not a Michigan thing. They're playing a different scheme. This kid gets off blocks. He plays upfield. He's not a two-gap player. He's a force in the middle. I love Jeanty that much.
Two more. Jeanty or McMillan from Arizona?
McMillan.
Okay. So you definitely have Jeanty over the corner from Michigan, Will Johnson.
Yeah, I do.
That makes sense. Okay, I kind of see where you got him at. Jeanty or Carter, pass rusher from Penn State?
Take Jeanty.
This is gonna be tough, man. And Brian, the reason
why. But see, don't follow me, man.
No. I agree. I feel the reason why I'm doing this because the Cowboys got to do this.
I know. And if they're sitting there in the 10 hole, if they're sitting at the listen. There is going to be, if they're in the top 10, I feel just looking at 7 guys right now. Yeah. And I haven't looked at maybe there's going to be some guys that jump into that, into that top 10 for me. But looking at 7 guys right now, I like every single player that I've seen so far.
Sure.
I have. And now, okay, Will Johnson, the corner, I know Dane Brugler had him today as his second best player in his top 50.
Not for me.
Not for me either. But I'll tell you what, he's a top 10 player though.
Yeah.
He's a top 10 player, but he might get driven down more and more and more. I still love the kid from Colorado though.
Yeah.
If you just kept throwing Colorado, if the Colorado kid, it would always be Hunter. Sure. But I tell you what, Jeanty, people are going to have a fun time studying him.
Yep.
Because you're right. The Oregon tape, the Washington State tape. I mean, he could score from anywhere on the field. He catches the ball. He's tough. He breaks tackles. What's going to be the wear and tear on him? There could be people that are going to kill this kid because he has a lot of carries.
Yep.
They're going to kill him for that. But he is a damn good football player. And I know, and I loved Bijan Robinson. I absolutely loved Bijan Robinson. I think I would take this kid over Bijan Robinson.
I feel you. Too soon for me to.
You know what?
Too
it's
soon
going
for me to
determine. It's going to be a fight.
Yeah.
It's going to be a fight. And you know what? It's going to be a good fight.
Yeah.
And I don't know if Dallas will take the runner. Because they do. You gave me positions. That Arizona receiver.
Yeah.
That dude can play. Hunter, they can play.
Yep.
The Michigan tackle Graham. Folks, seriously, when you see the guy play, you're not going to see Chris Jenkins and Mozzie Smith. You're going to see an upfield physical player. Yeah. Michigan's scheme is different. And it's different. And please evaluate the player. Don't look at the helmet. Evaluate the player. Don't look at the helmet.
In terms of Mason Graham, I'll just say this, and we can just get up out of here after this. For like Mason Graham, right? I know the Cowboys just drafted Mozzie. You don't think that that's going to matter in this conversation, is it?
I hope not. I did. It's funny at the game the other day. I was talking with Bobby Belt about this, and Bobby's really, Bobby's got some really good sources, and there's some guys, and I need to talk to my gang of 7, but I guarantee you there's going to be some high grades on Mason Graham.
Yeah,
there are going to be some high grades on Mason Graham, as a player, because he is. I mean, Dallas could use him right now.
Yeah,
could absolutely use a 320-pound man that has quickness, has power, gets off blocks. You right there, Voch is showing you what this player looks like. And this is not a extend, read. Look at that. That's up the field. That's straight up the field right there. That is not like extend hands, read, react. That's get to the ball right there. Different football player there. Different football player.
Hey, man, I hate losing games, Brian. I tell you what, but when we get to draft season, man, it's gonna be some guys for us to talk about. And we always say we're at the top of each round, and it's just gonna get better and better each.
Did you take a peek at Starks?
I did.
Georgia, the safety.
I did. Yes, sir.
Is he your last guy that you've? I mean, if you had, we've got 10 guys, 12 guys. How many guys you got looking at right there?
I got about 10 guys.
Okay, is he number 10 on your board?
Will Campbell's my 10th guy, but Starks is 9.
Oh, that's right. Okay, but Starks is 9.
I didn't look at Starks and think he was incredibly special like the rest of these guys.
I know that's what bothers me too. And you know what? I'm going to tell you a story about Ed Reed.
Sure.
Okay, Ed Reed. When I was working with the Cowboys, I was responsible for pointing out on the tape for Jerry where the players were. So I had a laser pen, and I would put a red dot on that person. And I'll never forget, as long as I live, Ed Reed, I would put the dot 2 feet off the screen to the right, because like you couldn't find it because he was, he would play that deep. Yeah. I'm not saying this kid plays that deep, but man, to me, these safeties are hard to do.
Yep.
They're hard to do. This kid can really run.
Yep.
I think he's a good tackler. I think sometimes though he's too aggressive and misses plays.
Sure.
But he doesn't look like a traditional safety.
He looks like not corner, a lot, right? Look like a corner.
He looks like a corner. He almost looks like a damn running back.
Sure.
6'1", 200. But when you look at him physically, he's going to probably test great at the combine one day. Mm-hmm. But he doesn't look like a traditional safety from the sense of the length and but he can cover in the slot. Yeah. But I don't know if I could use a top 10 pick on him. I don't know that.
I think he's more of a good running strong safety than like a real free. I think he does get involved in the run game a good little bit, and you'll see him in man coverage. I don't want him covering receivers too much, but he can run around with like tight ends and running backs and things.
He does. He plays in the slot. It's kind of funny. They just kind of drop. I mean, they you kind of think, well, is he playing slot corner here and all that?
Sure.
He just, folks, when you look at him, he's not he doesn't look like your traditional safety. And maybe my eyes got a little whacked by seeing that.
Sure.
But I'll tell you what, I feel like we're off to a good start with these names though.
Yeah.
I really do. I think there's going to be some more guys that are going to be elevated into that mix right now. I'm really happy Dane's lists out. By the way, folks, if you're kind of trying to find ways to study some players, hook and crook it, get Dane's top 50 and just take a peek, see if you can find it and just go for it, and just that way you get a little idea of what these guys can do.
When Voch and Bryan Broaddus talk draft, it is special. It is special.
I love this, man. You know what? I love this shit too much. That's my problem. I got with the right guy to talk about this stuff, though.
I'm looking forward.
Yeah, I'm looking forward in the coming weeks, though, of like I say, with Jim Nagy from the Senior Bowl director, Dane Brugler, all these guys that and Mike Lombardi's got a lot of connections. Mike Lombardi's got connections to Bill Belichick, the coaching search potentially coming around. We can pick his brain about that. So looking forward to the Tuesdays here on the We're Doing All Right.
Hey, y'all be sure to tune in Tuesdays. Y'all be sure to tune in Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. We're going to be doing great stuff.
Talk about Houston tomorrow, right? We could talk about the Texans offense tomorrow a little bit.
Brian, it sucks, man, because I kind of peeked at Houston. I was like, all right, man, Houston isn't playing great, but we not neither, so it don't matter. It don't matter.
Well, maybe once again, maybe we'll get into a situation. I know Fridays are draft talk, though, right?
Yeah,
Fridays is Fridays really chopping it up with some more names and stuff like that. So
yes,
I'm excited about watching college players again. I really am.
I watch a few every day, so catch me if
I
you
am
can.
too. I am too.
Catch
yeah, exactly.
Also watch the kid from Tennessee, but we'll talk about him next time.
Oh, I like that.
Pass rusher. All right, y'all. We appreciate y'all for tuning in, man. Thank you, Todd.
Better than the Penn State kid?
No.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
Penn State is special. The Tennessee kid and the Texas A&M kid, the pass rushers. I mean, they're cool. Yeah. They're solid, but Penn State is up here. He's the E word for me. He's elite.
Abdul Carter,
edge rusher, linebacker, Penn State. I got you.
Where's number 11 too, which is kind of fun.
We'll talk about it, Brian. Friday we're going to talk about it a little bit more.
Got it. I got you, man. I got you.
You're good to go.